Welcome back to the P.O.W.E.R podcast, property, ownership, wealth, and everything related. I'm Melissa Ashcroft,
Director of the podcast and all things related to finance, and I'm really excited for today's guest. Today I sit down with fellow mortgage broker and business owner Melissa Gielnik, Managing Director of Smart Lending, one of Melbourne's leading family-run mortgage brokerages. Melissa has built an award-winning business over time after 2 decades in the finance industry, becoming widely recognised for her leadership, customer service, and long-standing relationships across the lending sector. Raised within the broking industry, somewhat similar to myself, launching her own successful brokerage, Melissa shares insights into what it takes to build a long-term business, navigating changing market conditions, and lead a high-performing team while maintaining a family-based culture. We also dive into what's happening in the Melbourne market right now, from borrower sentiment and refinancing through to investor confidence, affordability pressures, and how clients are adapting to the current lending environment. For any broker, business owner, investor, or in fact anyone that's keen to learn more about the two Melissas, please listen in. This conversation will be packed with insight and I'm guessing a bit of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really good. What about you?
Well, it's so great to meet you in person.
Same.
I've heard so much about you over the years. The fact your name's Melissa.
And we're both Melissas. We're not Mels, we're Melissas.
So something about our listeners is that they know, even though I'm in finance and you are too,
Yep.
they're not necessarily so interested in what products available on the market and how to improve things in regard to their wealth. We actually organically get to that.
Yep.
What they're interested in is learning about you and how you got to be where you are, how you built your business, and some of the trials and tribulations, some of the successes, some of the things that have made you you.
Yep.
So let's start with the beginning.
Yeah.
How did you get into this industry? What was your career journey to get you to where you are today?
So obviously I went through year 12. I studied economics and accounting, which was great. I became a management accountant and I absolutely sucked at being an accountant. I fell in love with it. Do you know what? I was young. They hired me. I was a management accountant, worked at my Grace Brothers. So I actually looked after the target division.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a male in that department under 60. And I would bounce in every day and I was just there and they were all like, oh my God. So I just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't something that I had passion for. I moved overseas.
Okay.
Just thought I'll go overseas for a while, work out what I want to do. And when I came back, my dad was a mortgage broker and my mum's a property conveyancer. So grown up around property, around like investing, around finance. And dad said, why don't you work for me until you get a real job? I'm still waiting for that real job.
You and me both, Kim.
So tell me, you've had your family doing this business, nothing that you really wanted to do. You studied something slightly different.
Yep.
What made you want to think about what they do for yourself?
Look, when I came back, I thought I'll work for dad till I get a real job.
Mm-hmm.
I'd done economics, which was the basis of everything. It's the basis of everything that we do. It's
Mm-hmm.
the basis of investing, just like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought I'll work for dad and see how we go. And at this stage, my parents had me really young. They were doing really well. They'd separated, but individually and independently, they were doing well. So I wanted to be in a career and an industry where I could be self-sufficient, earn good money.
Mm-hmm.
I went and worked for dad and I just loved it. And I still love it.
That's great.
So, this year I've seen quite a few of my friends exit the industry and sell their business.
Mm-hmm.
I still have this passion. I've got this drive. I still want to grow. So working for dad and with mum, because mum's in conveyancing, I just loved it.
Yeah.
There was nothing about it that I didn't enjoy. It was the client interactions. It was, even the paperwork. I was telling a story today when we started. We used to fax the applications.
Yep.
Page by page.
Page by page on that thin little yellowed paper.
And
yes.
you used to write your little notes in the margins
Yeah.
and things like that. And the evolution of what we do now and how it's changed is unbelievable.
It is, isn't
so
it?
it really is. In 25 years, I think the only thing that hasn't changed is why we do it.
Yeah.
To help clients.
That's true. And
Yeah.
problem solve and get
Problem
them through. But also to help them grow their wealth, right?
Right.
So
that's a huge part of what we do. The strategy, the long-term vision, like making sure that they understand property is a long game.
It is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to touch on everything that's come out with the federal government just yet, but let's continue in your own career journey.
Yep.
So what was it that made you want to become a business owner?
So my business journey is a little bit controversial.
Tell us about it, because I think, but I want to explain this because I think everybody has a different, unique journey. Everybody thinks they're going to do one thing, but the journey to get to where they want to be is often extremely different from what it is.
So I was working for my dad and we're about 2 years in and I'm killing it. I'm loving it. Everything's going really well. And then my dad decides he wants to exit and he sells his business.
Oh. Okay.
So at this stage, I didn't know the sale was going through, and it was something that hit me, and I was like, "Ooh."
Okay.
So I packed up my files. Back then, we actually had physical files.
Yeah, that's right.
And I walked across to my mum's office, and Smart Lending was born. It was actually that simple.
Right.
So my dad then went on to become retired and do different things. At this stage, he was only like 54, so my dad was not old at all.
A great age to retire. I would love to retire at that age.
See, I'm not interested in retiring. I do like the idea of cutting back, and I like the idea of, traveling more and things like that, but I absolutely don't think I would love retirement. So I like farming. I'm really big into horticulture and stuff like that. So I could do both, but
Not for you. So
Not
this
for
is
me.
do it forever type thing.
Well, at the moment it is,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it won't be, when I'm in my 60s, I probably won't be
No.
doing that. And the truth be told, I run a business now and, we're growing organically, but I don't write that many residential home loans anymore. My team do.
Yeah. But
I take the
that's
initial
a sign
call.
of leadership, right?
Yeah.
Because you've done the hard yards.
Yeah, I have.
You've written those loans.
Yep.
You know what that's like.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, the shit stuff's not for me to do anymore. It's you're growing the business in a different way.
So there's
and if
no
you're
shit
going to be
stuff.
there,
Every part of the process is important.
I know, but you know how a lot of people.
No, I tell my team that. I say every part
they see it as horrible, but
Yeah.
you could probably do it if you wanted to. You've just chosen to grow your business in a different way.
Yeah. And so the team, and I have an overseas team, they do the majority of stuff. I do the client interactions. I get involved when we need to. I do any of the commercial and super fund loans.
Yeah.
So there are aspects of the business that I do really get involved in, but the everyday refinance, first home buyer, I don't. I have actually great staff who love doing those. And they still have that passion, whereas I'm more passionate about the SMEs and, building out the wealth.
Yes,
Yeah.
I understand. And I also think you've created a platform where you're mentoring, leading the next wave of brokers in Melbourne and Victoria. You've shown them that you've done the hard yards and this is what you can get to if you put in the hard yards now.
It's leadership, building a business, entrepreneurship's all about hard work, putting in the hours, mindset and growth.
Yeah.
And literally I empower my staff and my team. So as opposed to being a helicopter, I empower them to get it done.
That's great. I think that's something that I see a lot of female business owners do.
Yep.
Do you think there's a strong differentiation between, say, a male broker and a female broker in terms of the collaboration and the education and mentoring? Or do you think that's not gender specific?
I don't think it's gender specific. I talked about this not so long ago on Ticker News, and I really don't. I think that some of the males out there do it really well, like Nick Riley from Innovate does that really well.
Yeah.
I think it's very much dependent on the type of person that you are.
Yes.
I think females come into our industry for a different reason to males.
And what do you think that is?
So a lot of the newer females I speak to have had an experience that they haven't enjoyed, they haven't liked, or they've become divorced and they weren't financially literate. See, I was brought up in a family of business people,
people that were.
People
very
that worked,
different.
and my parents had me young, and then they became entrepreneurs when I was in my teenage years.
Yeah.
So I got to see that. I think that if you had always relied on a male, and you were not financially literate, it would be really hard when you were single.
Yeah.
So they come into the industry because they want to educate other females.
Yeah.
So when I talk to a lot of the brokers, that's why they come in. I came in because I'm more strategically minded. I wanted to problem solve. Mine wasn't because of an experience, because if I needed a home loan, my dad would do it.
Well, that's the thing, right? I think and moving aside from leadership and gender on that front, I do think, and I've had multiple guests on this podcast that will say that women in general, there's a large majority of women that aren't financially literate.
Yeah.
And whether it's their family situation or their, I guess, husband situation or partner situation, they don't actually understand the ins and outs and
No, they don't.
what it means to get a loan and what is servicing a loan and how do you need to do these things.
A lot of females rely solely on their husbands to do all of that.
That's
and
true.
I don't know if you've ever noticed something I'm really passionate about is females don't sit around a table and go, I invested in this and I did this and I got this growth on this, and they have conversations about money.
No.
Men sit down and do that all
That's
the time.
right.
And they then get tips from their other mates that they then go and invest and they do.
Exactly.
And that's how there's a group of men, they grow from one another.
That's
For
right.
some reason, females feel like it's almost like dirty to talk about money.
Yeah, it's like there's a confidence gap, but also it's like ick.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you need to talk about, I would say, your salary or what your husband's are on or whatever, but it's like
Investing.
all your investments per se. But it's like, oh, I heard from my bank that you can do this with my funding, or with my shares, we can do that.
I love
And
friends.
it's the share of information that men do
Women don't
when
do
we
that.
should do it, I think women in the majority are more a cuddle huddle, we help each
Yeah.
other. So why don't we help each other that way, do you think?
I feel like this just sounds terrible.
This is just your opinion. I'm not asking you to speak for all women, of
really
course.
feel like women we were taught to budget, not invest. So we were taught a lifestyle, not a strategy to get ahead. And I think that mindset needs to change. I'm actually really passionate about it. I love it when my friends go, oh my God, I'm on P.O.W.E.R and I did this, this, and this. Like a lot of my young team use that app to grow their investments. And I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like
What's
showing
P.O.W.E.R?
me.
Tell me,
It's
tell
like
our
an
audience.
app. Well, it's like an app
Yeah.
that where you can invest, like Courtney, who works for me, puts money into it every week and then she invests in shares. But it's not like a CommBank app where you have to have a minimum spend amount.
Okay.
You can put $50 into it or $100. And over time, she's grown hers into thousands.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And it was just that we worked in offices with financial planners and they were like, hop on P.O.W.E.R, do this.
Do
and we
this,
were like,
yeah.
oh.
You shared information.
Yeah, but it was a male sharing it with my younger female team.
Yeah.
And yeah, females don't just sit down and I love girls that want to talk money.
Yeah.
I want to grow my wealth. So if you
Yeah.
have a tip for me, I want to know that tip.
Yeah, I get it. I don't want to, I like to talk about, and it's hard for women because we go, I want to share what I've been doing and this is great and that, but we don't want to boast.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with men, they're like, and I know I'm probably speaking very freely right now, and we've got a large male audience, so I don't want to piss you off. But what I want to say is that you inherently in Australian culture have more confidence to speak that way and to speak to your mates in that way. I think women don't, and I'd like to see us do it more.
Do you know what I think? I think that if there's a job that's available and men have 5 out of the 10 traits, they tick them and they go, I can do that job, and they back themselves.
Yeah.
Women might have 8 out of the 10 and they won't apply for it because they didn't have all 10.
Yeah, I think that speaks to that confidence and willingness to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Just a story
I'm a
today.
bit of a fly by the seat of your pants kind of girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I've got 3 of them. I can do that job.
Yeah. Just to share a story from today, I was at a breakfast for JLL, who's a national, international...
A huge company.
Massive company, and it was their residential outlook. And I saw a developer that I've known for a long time from a different industry that I was in, and I was literally in the elevator with him, and I was like, oh God, just say something. And I said, oh, hi Danny, it's nice to see you again. And I put myself out there, but I could feel my blood curdling under my top, like I was going red in the face.
Yep.
But I was putting myself out there. I've been in a lift multiple times. I've seen other men go, oh, hey, Will, like I knew you 15 years ago and here's my business card, we should do business. But and I'm very successful. I've done a lot in commercial.
I was just about to say.
He's a developer, but I was hot under the collar to do that. And I don't know why I'm like that. And it was very awkward because his son was also there, and I got the business cards out of my bag and I went like this to give it to them, and my brain was obviously having a does not compute moment because normally you don't cross your hands like this to give people a business card because you look like a bit of a weirdo. But when I left, it was like the adrenaline of doing it. And I walked away and I thought, I don't know many of my male colleagues in this finance world that would have had all these feels.
No.
So do you think that sums up how we are in business?
I do. I really do.
It was just that moment of like confidence gap that I was like, I actually speak about it on podcasts. I do this all the time. This is part of who I am.
But you experienced it.
And I experience it all the time.
Yeah.
And it was a true elevator pitch. Like I was in the elevator.
You get like 10 seconds for an elevator
Yeah.
pitch. I still don't have mine down pat. Like, and I listen to some of the guys, like in P.O.W.E.R, we're both members, do theirs, and I think, why can't I just say it really confidently? For a really long time, I couldn't say I'm the #1 female residential broker in the country.
Yeah.
I was actually really embarrassed to say that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, in case someone said to me, prove it.
Yeah.
And you'd go, yeah. Like, so I don't know. Like,
It's a confidence, I think. Because if you say it in the way that's truthful, they will believe you. But if you're full of shit, they just got to go, oh, well, whatever, or prove it, or, you know, they don't get it.
I recently actually put the tag up on my Instagram and it says Australia's top female broker. So it
Oh,
doesn't
that's
say
great.
#1, it says Australia's top female broker.
Yeah.
And I put it up and I was waiting for someone to message me and go, are you?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, I am.
Yeah.
But I was waiting for someone to actually to question
knock
it.
you down.
Yeah.
Like an imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And so with all your success, you still have those same feelings as well, right?
Yes, I do.
So,
Yeah.
But you did change your
I did
handle.
change it and it's still there.
Yeah.
And I kept up and no one said anything.
Because a fact is a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And
So-
in fact, a lot of my male colleagues applaud me for doing
doing
that.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Well, you know, we talk about owning businesses, we talk about females, we talk about broking, but ultimately the core of what we're talking about is we're selling part of who we are as a person when we're dealing with broking, which is a service.
Yes.
We don't have the money. The bank has the money. We don't own the client. The client owns their own decisions.
Yep.
So in that service model, do you have any tips or tricks for people that want to be like you and emulate someone like you and the success you've created?
Yeah, I actually do. So there's
Let us
3
hear it.
things that
Okay.
I think make me successful. I think I've always worked hard. So, and I think work ethic, I understand at the moment there's a lot out there for Gen Zs especially,
Yes.
where we talk about get rich quick, drive your G-Wagon, live in your like $5 million house on the Gold Coast. But at the end of the day, a lot of those Gen Zs want to come home at 5 o'clock. They want to go to the gym. They want to cook a beautiful meal, but they want to be millionaires.
Yeah.
Here's a tip. You only get rich by working and doing it smart. Yeah, you have to work.
Yeah.
You have to. So I would work, I would be consistent at the things I do. I think that's one thing that really got me ahead was consistency.
Yeah.
I was consistent in my team approach. I was consistent in the way I approached referrers. I still I reached out to you. I still reach out and try and make new networks and
so
connections and stuff.
Yeah. After 2.5 decades, I think everyone should hear that it's not just you've arrived, you're perceived as successful, you're the best residential broker in Australia. You don't take any of that in when you're driven, ambitious, with a strong work ethic.
Do you know, for a while, I stopped doing that and my business actually stalled.
Right.
So after COVID, being from Melbourne, after COVID, I just stopped visiting. I stopped going out. I stopped hunting for business and my business really stalled. And so I've had to reignite the passion for meeting new people, for putting myself out there. And, you know, it's actually a learned skill. People think that you can just pick up the phone and say, hi, it's Melissa from Smart Lending. Can we catch up for a coffee? You actually learn to do that. It's a learned skill. You don't just wake up one day and go, I'm going to have no shame, put myself out there, have more front than mire and see how I go. So I started doing that again.
Yeah.
And I found it really hard. It was really challenging, but consistency.
But it paid off.
It did pay off. Yep, we're back on track.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
So
where
consistency.
did that fire come from to do that? Because I think a lot of people get to a point, regardless of being in our industry or not, where they're like, you know what, I'm over it, I'm exhausted, I've been doing this for such a long period of time.
I wanted
But
more.
you wanted more.
I wanted more.
Yeah.
I was ready
But why?
to grow my business for my younger team. I don't want to lose any of my team members, so I want to grow.
Yeah.
My kids are now all quite grown up.
Yeah.
So my youngest child's 17.
Yeah.
She's in year 12. In 3 months she
Oh,
drives.
wow.
So I'm not sure when she's driving if I'm going to see her again.
Yeah, probably not. Not for a while. When she wants something.
Yeah, when she needs money.
Yeah.
So I raised my family. I also had a successful business. Everything kind of died during COVID in the Melbourne market. And I'm going to be honest, Melbourne's still recovering. I was
Yes.
talking to a taxi driver on the way here, and Sydney's pumping.
Yeah.
Melbourne CBD is still not pumping. We were
Yeah.
locked down for so long.
Yeah.
People just want to stay at home. And I'm like, get out there, get amongst it.
Yeah. And Melbourne, to me, I visited multiple times, and I want to catch up with you when I'm next there.
Absolutely. We'll do dinner
Melbourne's
somewhere cool.
always the vibe and like it was so cool and everything like that. So,
Yep.
so let's just pivot a bit to the Melbourne market, because predominantly our listeners are from Sydney and around, because they know me.
Yep.
So tell me, like you said, COVID really stopped people, but what are you seeing in property and pricing and everything there, the market itself, just holistically?
So holistically, we have to understand that we've had rate rises this year, that we were expecting to have an easy year. Like at the start of the year, I posted on socials talking about how this was going to be a great year, you know, it's going to be prosperous. As soon as there's an election and rates go up, the market in Melbourne just stalls. And I think it does that in Sydney as well. We've seen, you know, buyer sentiment drop. People are now worried about what's happened with the election, and we won't see the effects of that for 2 to 3 months. Melbourne's just a tough market. Like Sydney and Queensland have grown. We've actually had negative growth. It's only like by 0.1, but it's still negative.
Negative,
So I
how do
think
you tackle that as a business owner?
So I'm just getting out there and I'm
Yeah.
working harder.
You're doing
I'm
this
networking.
today. Yeah.
I am, you know, really putting myself out there on socials. So
Yeah.
looking to have a really big following by the end of the year on Instagram and LinkedIn. I talk about things that are relevant to everyone. So I talk about, you know, your small to medium enterprise businesses, the challenges they're facing. I've talked and explained the budget. So I want to educate.
Yeah.
So a lot of
Educate
people,
me on the budget, because I've been trying to form an opinion. And
I'm
I
a
don't know when
budget
this
nerd.
is coming out, but I, for the past couple of weeks, have been trying to work out how to advise. I've had so many customers call me, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know what to do.
It's, well, I'm going to say single-handedly, it was the worst budget ever handed down. It will go down in history as the worst budget ever handed down.
Yes, that I can have my opinion on and agree with.
I think that this happened in New Zealand in 2021, and they then, Jacinda Ardern was then voted out, and the next government rolled back the changes.
Do you think that'll happen here?
Well, in New Zealand, they have no capital gains tax. They believe in risk and reward. You take the risk, you get the reward.
Yeah.
Now, that's no capital gains tax on businesses. They still have it on property.
Right.
Everything Angus Taylor's saying is that if he gets in, he will look at the detriment to business and how to get more first home buyers in the market, because the government's budget doesn't do that. They talk about like inequality across generations. They did nothing to fix that, because I've got investments, I'm grandfathered.
Yeah.
It's my kids that are going to, it's my kids.
The younger generation.
The younger generation, and a lot of them were rent investing.
But also people that have been saving for years and years to get their first investment property.
Yep.
And they don't want to buy off the plan, because we know that
They don't
negative
perform
gearing
well.
And they take a lot longer to, I guess, increase equity to enable you to then buy your own owner-occupied. So they've just been given a massive slap in the face.
Yeah, they have. Yep.
And it's hard to get your head around how horrible it is, to be honest, because I've spoken to a variety of people and they're all just saying it's horrible.
Well, I'm going to pose this to you. If you were to go into Melbourne and you were to buy an investment property and you were to follow what the government wants you to do, you're going to build a house and land package in somewhere like Melton. Now, that's where I grew up. It's a lower demographic. Property prices there have only grown in the past like 5 years. So now an average price of a house in Melton is $600,000.
Wow, okay.
Right? You're going to build in an area where there's land for miles.
Yeah.
So
But where
you're
do
not
you
going to
work?
have growth,
Yeah.
right? Well, you're going to drive or catch a train an hour and a half into the city every day,
Okay.
right? You're not going to have growth. There's still thousands of acres of land,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
The demographic that you're going to get renting there is probably not going to improve the value of your home. Who's going to buy it and who's going to build it?
People that
So-
want to get in the property market, like, I don't know.
Well, I don't think
Because I
that...
fund the developers. So I hear of these rural, semi-rural places because once you're an hour outside the CBD, it's deemed that way anyway.
Yep.
So it
But who's
creates
going
a
to buy
conundrum.
it once you've had renters in there and stuff
I
like
don't
that?
know.
When they can go and buy an already established, nicer house in the centre of town.
Yeah.
It might be older.
Yeah.
But generally it's not going to be like squashed up next to one another because everything's built for pricing these days.
That's right.
And then so it's going to take ages to sell. It probably won't have grown in value.
Yeah.
But I want to know who's going to build these properties. We don't have enough
Well,
builders to build now.
The numbers don't add up. So
don't
that's why they
work.
can't build them. So,
They don't work.
You know, that's what I do
So
day to day.
I think what the government has done is they've taken their housing crisis and moved it into the private sector to try and make it the investor's problem. That's what I think.
I think so.
I could be wrong. To all your viewers, if I'm wrong, that's okay.
No, I think everyone's got an opinion on it.
Yep.
But ultimately, when you hear people say Australians should focus on having a home and paying the debt off that, I just think that's so limiting. Australians are the type that want to give it a go. We've got so many small business owners here.
Yep.
It's like, give it a go. Let us try and create a business that we can then maybe sell. Oh, we're going to halve the tax. We're going to half your income on that. Let us buy an investment property so maybe we have our own and our investment property.
Yep.
No, unless it's a new build, which might be completely not for you or also not in the right place or inappropriately priced.
Yep.
Don't even bother because you're not going to have negative gearing, so you're not going to be able to save for
And
it.
negative gearing is a tax strategy. Not everyone needs that, but it helps people to service for more debt.
Exactly.
And it helps them to then be able to get something back.
Yeah. Well, my high net worth clients, I'm sure you have them too, they want the negative gearing. It's just to placate other things going on in their world.
Absolutely.
So it's not just for
And
the
it's for
purpose of
savings.
servicing alone.
Yep.
So for me, I think, I'm coming up with my opinion right now in this podcast, but I think it's about, it feels so limiting. It feels like if you want to give it a go, which is part of who we are as Australians, you're actually it actually feels like you shouldn't because you're damned if you do. It's not
100%.
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
So if
like, give it a go. It's just damned if you do.
Correct.
Because if you can sell something for $500,000, half of that is going to be taxed.
Yep.
And if you've bought an investment property that's doubled in value for the 20 years you've owned it, half of, or whatever the parameter is now gone.
Well,
30%
let's
is gone.
even forget property, right? Business owners. I have had nights and days and times in my career where I don't know how I'm going to pay everyone. And I have had times where I've gone without to help the business grow.
Same.
None of that is important to the government. They don't care about any of that. What they want to see is that at the end, when I've done all the hard work, that they're going to take half.
I know.
And
It's
I
just
just go,
demoralising.
It is, and
really.
we're supposed to be a
You've
country.
created an asset, you've worked your ass off, you've paid for
And it's the Aussie way.
other Australians to have jobs through your business. So you've employed other people. You've paid tax on top of tax for the privilege of doing that. Yet,
Which the government spend recklessly. And let's be honest, it's not like they're spending it well, so why should we be donating more?
I agree. Well, hopefully we follow New Zealand and kind of.
I hope so.
Nip this in the
most
bud.
of the countries that brought in the CGT on businesses rolled it back.
Yes.
So
hopefully that
but
happens.
I don't even see how we're helping first home buyers get into the market.
No.
Because they want them to buy
Let's
established.
speak about that a bit. Because
Yeah.
that's really the entry level, right?
Right.
You want to get into the market, you want to increase your wealth by having debt against the property that you live in, and there's no tax on that.
Right.
So great, good, awesome. But
But
now,
we're gonna
can
make you
get
buy
into the market?
established.
Can you get in?
Well,
How
so
much do you need?
here's my take on first home buyers.
Yeah.
It's not a supply shortage, it's a serviceability issue.
That's right.
So they would have been better flipping the narrative and saying, if you're a first home buyer and you build a house and land package, we're going to give you a $60,000 or $50,000 first homeowner grant, as opposed to saying, go and buy an established house that's priced out of your market that you can't afford.
And how are you going to afford it? How are you going to
They
get your
can't.
deposit?
They can't.
For those that don't know, if you're borrowing over 80% of the value of the property, you need lender's mortgage insurance, LMI.
Yep.
So you're paying insurance for the lender to satisfy their requirement that you can borrow to a higher level. So yes, there are different duties in different states about if there's a rebate on that. But really, if you're buying and the average price in Australian property, all over Australia is $1 million.
Yeah, it is.
So if you want to buy a property, you need an $800,000 loan. You need to service it, but you also need $200,000 as a deposit. $200,000.
Yep.
And you need stamp duty.
Yep. And
so do you have, I don't know, but like most people I know at my age who have large careers themselves don't have $200,000.
No, and I love this. If you've made your money as a young person with shares or crypto, the government are going to tax that and take half of that.
I know, the young'uns with their crypto, which I have no idea what it's about. I thought it was like an Egyptian museum, like we're in a crypto, like I thought it was like the vernacular.
Yeah, I have so many clients that use crypto to buy property, but they'll cash it in and off they go. Now, whatever they make, so they make 50 grand and they're going to put it towards their 200,000, half of that goes to the government. Gosh. So how are we helping them get ahead? We're not.
No. We're not. So our world has had a big kick in the teeth, basically.
Especially companies that do investment strategies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, I just want to speak to it because you spoke about it before, you know, you really want to increase your following and that's how you grow your business and, you know, you want to have more of a brand out there. I see that as a way forward.
Yep.
Absolutely. But what about all those Instagram influencers that are like, you know, I own 10 properties and I did this and I did that.
Yeah.
Do you think they should be banned from the marketplace? Because they're actually influencing a lot of young people into things that aren't exactly... We need to do courses to be able to provide credit advice. These people don't necessarily do.
No, so what they do, most of them are buyer's advocates and they talk about their own story and then they put you in touch with a broker or someone who can help you. I think... Look, it's marketing. Like, and I don't know if you can actually ban them from the market, but I do hope that when their clients, when the people that go to them get advice, they get good advice. I think the market's really changed and it's going to be tough for those companies.
I agree.
You know, a lot of them were working on a mass amount of clients coming in the door.
That's right.
And now that's all just kind of cut off. So if you're one of those owners and you had a lot of staff, you'd be quite worried at the moment.
That's right. So if
Which
there's
then
someone
leads to
that
an
has seen an
issue.
influencer and they're kind of like, exactly. But if you are, so stay with me. Because if you are someone that's seen an influencer but heard this now and gone, how do I find someone? How do they find you? Like, what do you, if you were going to find a broker for yourself or a real estate agent, or a buyer's agent, not a buyer's advocate.
Yes.
You know, I don't know if it's the same terminology.
I think it is the same terminology.
What do you do to find them?
Well, you would look me up, which is Smart Lending Mortgage Brokers on Instagram,
There you go.
or Melissa Gielnik. And look, I think a lot of people these days find brokers via Google reviews, their online presence and social media. People verify you before they come to you. Most of our clients come to us and they know they want to deal with us because they know who we are because they've seen us on social media. I do think it's a way of growing my business moving forward. I think that you have to go off word of mouth. You have to see, you know, through your feed. If you're a young 20-something, you're going to go through your feed and see who everyone likes, who everyone's using, what they look like, how they feel. Like, people know by the time they come to you that they want to use you.
I agree with that. So I guess the messaging from myself and you is to say, you know, we see a lot on Instagram at the moment, but really check out what you're looking at, because there's a lot of people right now that are responding to everything from the government and they've got really great graphics and they do a really good job at what they do. But are they actually issuing you correct credit advice in that moment? Maybe not. So look up their accreditation, make sure there's a website, is there an ABN? Are there actual brokers in that business?
Yes.
That's, I think, the research that I would like.
And I think you can see that from their page as well. You can see, are they just talking marketing all the time? Is that all it is? Like, on my page, we've got bits of my life, you've got bits of my business, you've got the funny side, you've got like, you know, it's coming here today and I filmed and I didn't post it, but I was filming walking through the airport and I was like, hey, going to Sydney for the weekend, dropped my suitcase, coffee went here, and I was like, okay. So, like, you know, the authentic, you've got to be, you want to find someone who's authentic and real.
That's right.
And they actually are who they project.
Exactly.
So, and I think a lot of the marketing companies are going to struggle.
Yeah, that's really where this comes to, because I hear people...
And I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, I agree. So, I had 2 pages of notes, and I think we've got through all of them without me looking at my pages once.
Do you know what? Normally when I go to podcasts, people don't ask the questions. We just
I
talk.
know. I love that for us. So, but what I do at the end of all my podcasts is I have some fire questions.
Yep.
So,
And
you've
I can
already
answer them.
revealed you haven't looked at the sheets, so that's great. So what I want you to do is just hear it and just respond.
Okay.
And if it's a sentence or a couple, doesn't matter. It doesn't
I
need
haven't
to
seen
be,
any of these
I
questions.
know. Normally
Is that
people
good?
come in prepared and they pretend to be shocked by my questions, but you genuinely will be.
I will be, because I haven't seen any of them. I'm a bit
There's
scared.
nothing that's shocking, I promise.
Okay.
Okay, best career lesson you've learned.
I think people will always disappoint you, no matter how much you don't want them to. Mm-hmm. There will always be a stage in your career at some stage where people will disappoint you.
100%. Agreed. The best piece of advice you've received.
You can't be what you can't see.
Love
I
it.
love that.
Biggest challenge you've overcome.
I think reinventing myself. Definitely reinventing myself.
And we all do that, right?
Yeah, and I think after COVID, I really had to work hard at that.
Yeah.
I became very complacent, very relaxed, and I really wasn't hunting.
Yeah.
So I had to work really hard at that.
I get it. Most underrated quality in a successful broker.
Oh, I'm going to say communication skills. People think we're all about finance and that we're all about numbers, but it's how you communicate it to the actual client.
Yeah, I
Yep.
agree. A habit you see in highly successful people.
Good morning habits, good daily morning habits.
Okay.
Successful people have a really good mindset. They have great morning habits.
Great. I wake up at 5 a.m. every day, so
I
hopefully
get up at
that's a good...
4:30. And I do the same thing every day.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah,
Yep.
same. I always say, today's going to be a great day. Something awesome is going to happen. Whatever happens, I can handle it.
No, you don't.
Every day. It's like my thing.
Oh my God.
I've got
We've
others.
talked about how we are twins. I wake up every day and I say, today's going to be a great day. Awesome things are going to happen to me.
I don't know. Like, I'm going to have to call you at 4:30 and
Yep.
like hear you say it.
But I literally get up, I go switch on the kettle, I come back, I hop in the shower, I get ready because I have a shower before I go to the gym. I know that sounds
That's
random.
weird, but okay.
Okay,
we'll
I do
go
that.
with it. Yeah.
Yep. I literally make my bed,
Yep.
unstack the dishwasher, go to the gym, get a coffee, come. I do the same thing every single day.
Yeah.
But I wake up and I say, today's going to be a great day. Great things are going to happen to me.
I always say something awesome's going to happen, and when the awesome thing happens, I'm like, oh, that's it, because I've trained my brain to.
Yeah.
It's that neuroplasticity
We
stuff.
are what we tell ourselves.
Correct.
Yeah.
Last question: a power quote or mindset you live by?
This is really tough. I would look. I love you can't be what you can't see, but that's not what it is. I think that being an entrepreneur is not a lifestyle; it's a strategy.
Very good. Well, on that note, to
I feel like I should
entrepreneurs,
have. I feel like I should have
read the
notes
yeah,
and prepared for
but
that
it's
question.
Probably better that you didn't, because that's your true
Yeah, it is.
thought.
Yeah.
At this moment in time, it might change. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
So on that note, thank you so much for coming and sharing all your views.
Thank you for having me.
Especially because we don't know anyone, in the Melbourne and Victorian market. So we don't know how tough it is for you there. And obviously to rise above and to be so successful in trying times is a testament to your success.
And look, Melbourne's a great place to buy because it has to go back up at some stage.
That's right. It must.
It
so
must.
Thank you to all our listeners, and we'll have to have you back on.
I'd love to.
Thank you, and thanks again.
Thanks.